same song.
And then weird things are going to happen. Okay, one more second. Almost there. All right. And one or two more people might pop up into our room. So, let's start. So, everything that I offer is just an offering. If you want to take it in different places, you're totally welcome to. This is really for you to tune into your own awareness and into your physical sensation, into your body in any way that feels right for you. And just to name a few more things, a lot of the way that I work comes from the work of Continuum, which is this woman named Emily Conrad. But I'm also a movement analyst, Laban. So there's a lot of Laban Barteniev work in there. And I have studied with Michael Taft for a long time and known him for a long time. So that there's that layer also in it. So the first one I want to do is take a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly and just feel into what it feels like under your hands without trying to fix anything under there, without changing it. Like let your belly be exactly the size and shape of your belly. Let your chest be exactly the size and shape of your chest. Feeling your breath coming and going. And let's invite in our highest wisdom, whatever that is, wherever that comes from, whether it's from outside of you, whether it's from inside of you, just inviting that online as a kind of guide and protector through your experience. I was thinking a lot about protection and and something that came to me is like healing is also like protecting our bodies or healing ourselves is within that realm. So coming into this idea, sometimes we think, I don't need any protection, but maybe we do. Maybe we just need protection for our our brains, our hearts, our gut body. Maybe not protection in the sense of armoring, but protection in the sense of resilience and vitality and life force. Protective life force. Moving towards healing. And let's use this breath. It's called the theta breath. It's going to really extend your exhale, but the idea isn't to extend your exhale forever. It's just to um, let it last for as long as it feels good. And then whenever you want, inhale again, and we can take resting breaths, normal breaths whenever you want. So we're tuning to the needs of our body without forcing what they should be. So that's one of the big differences of this work is we're sort of allowing feeling into maybe a little bit of nudge, but we're not forcing, pushing, controlling. So coming in to the theta breath with that really allowing the body and body sensation and body movement to come online. And the theta breath is a very soft hiss, like your tongue is just behind your teeth and it's probably my earbuds will take out the sound, but really gentle, like soft steam releasing from a radiator or a radiator. And I'm starting to invite micro movement into my central channel or into my spine, into my head tail connection. Like as soon as I come in to that hissing, I want to just have a little bit of an internal adjustment. So it could be micro movement, it could be macro movement, could just be the rise and fall of the breath, but it could also be sort of an internal exploration, like you're shining the light of awareness inside and feeling, could I feel a little better if I moved a little bit? And I said before, we're not trying to fix anything, but we're trying to awaken that possibility of movement. So, or maybe would it be interesting is a better way of naming that? Would it be interesting to allow some movement to bubble up through the head tail connection, through the spine? And whatever comes in, you're just going to welcome it in. Whatever bits and pieces, resistance, control, all judgment, all of that is allowed. We're just not going to give it a whole lot of attention. So it's like, yes, come and sit by the fire, but you can't take all my attention. So inviting in all of your cells and all of your selves. So all parts of you are welcome into this exploration. It's kind of a paradox because we want to allow the part of us that is the judge, that is the critic, to be present. We just don't want them going full force into judging every moment of your experience. So if they do come online and start drawing your attention, see if you can tune to sensation in your body, tune into the rise and fall of your breath, tune into the micro movement that's happening at all levels all the time anyway. But we're just going to allow that micro movement and macro movement to start to free up a little bit more, tuning into the flow of life in our bodies, the flow of life force in our bodies. And I'm going to set my arms free so they don't have to stay connected. And I'm sitting on a physio ball, so it's very easy for me to move and move small or move big. So feel free to allow movement to come into your body. You could almost think that you're feeling what the air feels like on your skin, or you're feeling into the feeling of wearing clothes or the floor underneath you, or wherever you're seated, feeling into the surface sensations of your body. And as you're in that, you can kind of check it out. What is it like? What's it like to be in here and have a surface? And as soon as I even talk about the surface, my mind goes right into the depths of my guts. My gut body's like, what? What about me? So it might be that your interest is more to be deeper inside your body. That's totally fine as well. And it's not that it has to be one or the other. In your awareness, it can shift back and forth. So bringing online this idea of life force, flow, it's all happening anyway, regardless of whether or not you attune to it. We have life force as long as we're alive, and there is the flow of life happening our whole life. So allowing yourself to tune into that resonance of that vitality and just feel what it feels like. What does it feel like to be alive in your body? And one reason I like movement so much is when I'm moving, I really feel alive. I can feel the aliveness. And then when I calm it down and I just feel into sensation with no movement, there's much more online for me. So invite movement in as an exploration tool. Hello, everybody who just came in the last couple of breaths. Um, we're just playing with being in our bodies. We can bring in the theta breath if you're just coming in, maybe some long extended exhales with a hissing sound. Allowing our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest, soothe and settle, to come online, right? Giving yourself the chance to process in a physical way without having to think about it, just allowing this flow of life, this micro flow of movement or macro flow of movement, whatever's happening for you, to give you the space to process whatever's happening in your life without having to think about it. I feel like a lot of the things I'm saying are kind of contradictions. So take it in whichever way it makes sense for you. And if it absolutely makes no sense, just let go of that idea and come back to theta breath, come back to micro movement. Tuning into the flow of aliveness in your body. The flow of aliveness, the flow of being. And letting your awareness move to the surface area of the body, maybe into the outer space around you so that you're taking in the surroundings, maybe in your ears, in your eyes, in your sensation, smelling whatever you smell in the environment, Anthony saged the whole house yesterday with a very large excess of saging. So as soon as I smell, I'm smelling that smoky sage smell. Allowing experience to come on and online, allowing body sensation, movement, and fluidity to come online, and welcoming it in. Maybe it's stillness. Maybe you need more stillness. So in my room, I tend to have a wide variety of movement experiences that people have. So take it in whatever way you need it to work for you today. I'm actually going to stand up, get off of my ball, and just allow the flow of energy to move through my body. And it can be that it's your imagination sending this flow of energy, or it could be that you are really feeling flows, right? We have the breath flow coming and going. We have the fluid flow happening at all times in our bodies, and this readjustment with that fluid flow. We have the flow of life. And we have the flow of thoughts and the flow of our experience. So there's a lot of different flows. Find whatever's interesting and tune into that. And it can be like you've just come into this body for the first time and you're wondering, what does it feel like to be in here? What can it do? How can it move? In a way, as if you don't know all the possibilities of movement yet. You're still in the open, sort of beginner mind, open awareness. Curiouser and curiouser, moving down the rabbit hole of being. And inviting your body to let go as much as feels okay of any kind of armoring or any kind of cultural or familial patterning that is no longer serving you. So as we go through our lives, we get a lot of messaging on how we should behave and how we should move. Feel free for this little while to let go of those ideas as much as possible and allow yourself freedom and permission to move differently, to discover something else, to let go of stuff that is not serving. Inviting your body into this open realm of being with your awareness and your experience. And it may sometimes happen that your body starts to unwind and untangle and release things. And it may be kind of like a kriya, or it may feel like, oh, my body's just doing this thing. Know that you always have the power to come back to stillness and to control it. Your body isn't going to suddenly go off in violent directions unless you like, so know that you always have the power to come back to stillness. You have the power to control your movement anytime. You've spent a lifetime of doing it and you can always bring it back. So give your body some freedom to explore, to unwind, allowing your nervous system to drop down into the parasympathetic, the rest and digest, soothe and settle, and sort of disentangle anything that's sticky or tight. And I don't mean like stretch the muscles because they're tight. I mean like let go of the idea of the graspy tightness of holding on to something. And just see where the exploration takes you. I was at a dance performance yesterday, and the some of the dancers needed a break. It was at a university here, one of the dancers was dancing in every single piece. And so the director of the whole show made everyone get up and come onto the stage and do this improvisation. And the improvisation was follow your hand, let it go wherever it wants to go. So if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know what to do, follow your hand, let it explore, follow your fingers, let them go somewhere. You could do it with any other body part, but just to invite in movement and invite in the freedom to improvise and not know where you're going. Try following your hand or following another body part and seeing where it leads. I'm going to give us music to continue on. So let this just take you wherever you want to go or wherever feels interesting. This is Ambient Fields, album number 4, song number 1. This is a friend of mine who makes all this guitar music in Iceland. He's actually a Hudson Valley person, but so letting the sound, the spaciousness of the music, offer your exploration some dynamism, some variety. And you could move with a sense of slowing down or speeding up. So shifting your relationship to time where things become slower or faster. Or you can suspend yourself in sort of a timelessness where time doesn't change so much in your body. You stay at the same speed. This could be on the floor, laying down. You could be seated. You can be standing. You could be laying on your side, on all fours. If you aren't sure what your body wants to do, ask it. And then allow. Cracking away all the I should, it should look like this, it should feel like that, it should be like this, I have to move like that. Let go of all of that. Let it be what it is in your body. Permission. Permission to just be you in the flow of life. And being gentle in your experience with yourself. If you feel like you're going into patterning that's really familiar and it's always what you do, go somewhere different. Just change the space that you're moving within, change the tempo, change the body part, or change the pathway of the flow, right? It could come from one place and move to another place. And if it becomes too much ever, feel free to take a break, get some water, come to stillness. Opening yourself up into the I don't know. best adventures are unplanned. And we don't know what's going to happen next. So invite that into your own body, into your own experience, taking it down to the floor. Let your awareness be, it can be global or it can be kind of focused, but let it be easy. So you're not working hard to be aware. You're just noticing what you're noticing in sensation, in your senses. You can bring back the theta breath anytime you want to, the soft hiss. Could ask yourself, is there anything I'm holding back away from myself? Am I holding myself back away from life energy? And if so, am I ready to engage with that life energy? Am I ready to make space for that life energy? When we shift our energy, it's a big adjustment. So sometimes it's nice to take it really slow. When things change for our body, it's nice when it happens slowly. It doesn't come crashing through our life, but it comes gently and softly. But then sometimes also, if we have some kind of holding pattern or something that is holding us back, we might not even notice when it slips away and suddenly the whole pattern has changed and the shift is finished and we're in a new flow. We've worked through something, or we've played through something, or we've curiously moved through something, moved through with our curiosity. Being kind and gentle with ourselves and ourselves. Our cells are listening. Our cells know everything that we think. Our cells know everything that we feel. Yeah, our cells are they're in the experience too, and it's not separate. I was looking at something online today about brains and traumatic brain injury like concussions. And what happens when the head gets bounced like that is that there's the injury can be within the neurotransmitters and the internal areas get tangled. So we could just think that as we're in this movement play, we're allowing any little tiny tangles in our body, in our mind, to become a little more spacious and a little less tangled. It's the same that they talk about fascia. When it's incoherent, it's sort of tangled and like matted wool or boiled wool or felt. But when we move, we invite the fascia to sort of disentangle, to receive fluidity, to receive flow. So movement does that for us. And gentle movement, I can't help but think, is also giving our brains and our material in our brain the chance to become a little more resilient because we're letting this movement in. We're not forcing it in like a head banging traumatic brain injury, but we're giving it this capacity to relate to gravity in different ways. And that builds a extra bit of resilience in our tissue when we're letting go of the tangled parts of life a little bit. We're letting go of the crunchy and crusty things. And if we're really accustomed to holding tightly to perfection of how we should be and what should happen and what's going on, we're kind of blocking flow a little bit, right? So see if we can let go of that perfectionism. Perfectionism is not fun or playful. So let yourself let go of that idea. It's not to say that as we're in these explorations, it's all just puppies and rainbows. Things can come up, but we just allow them to keep moving. Generally, this is not super emotional for me, but every once in a while it can be. Generally, I feel like my body's just doing a lot of the processing and I don't need to get into story. But sometimes tears come or feelings come, so that they're welcome to be there too. It's also moving through. Coming into coherence so that our systems can work together. So that's that vibrancy and healthiness. And tension blocks that flow. Tension masks sensation, right? So we're letting go of tension to really feel what it feels like to be in here, to experience being. And in movement analysis, in the Laban work, we talk about sort of, there's many different types of flow, but there's flow effort, which is sort of the dynamic quality of movement, like the flavoring in the stew. And flow is sometimes free flow, like childlike, unbounded flow. And then there's more bound flow, which is much more mature and specific and adult-like. So we can invite both of those types of flow into our experience, really free flow, childlike, We don't know where it's going next, very alive and vibrant. Or the specific bound flow where it's really, uh, I want to say modulated. But I think also with flow, it's within our body, our blood flow has these pulses and these push. If we think of the flow of an ocean, it's not all just smooth sailing. There's lots of big upsurges and swells, and then very minimal movement as well when things are calm. So flow isn't a one-dimensional thing that just goes one way. There's multiple, infinite possibilities for how that flow is expressing. If you've been moving a lot, try some moments of stillness and feel into your experience in the stillness or relative stillness. And if you've been really still, add some tiny little movement. And we don't have to just be gooey blobs. We can also push, pull, resist, go with. You can feel into all the capacity, different ways of moving, of being. Although there's lots of space to be mushy blobs also. So that's welcome. It just doesn't have to just be mushy blobbing. And when we start to release some of the holding patterns and some of our rigidities, it doesn't mean that we don't have boundaries. For me, it means it's very clear where my boundaries are. When something feels wrong, it's like that's a hard no. So we're not trying to take away our discernment or our, intelligence or our wisdom or our skillfulness with life. We're just trying to really fine tune it. So we go, oh, that isn't working. I can feel that. So we start to clear maybe some of the stuff that we've been not feeling and allowing it to move through us so that we can really start to discern what we do and don't want in our lives or in our ways of being, or even what we feel about how we're working with ourselves, right? Letting it be through awareness that we can change, or I mean, everything's changing all the time, no matter what, but that we can move forward or continue in our life in ways that feel in alignment on that body, mind, spirit, head, heart, guts, reproductive organs, everyone in alignment, or as much alignment as possible. That's what coherence is, when it's working together, when the orchestra is playing the same tune with the same rhythm, with nice conduction, conducted well, right? So that the music is beautiful. And that's what we're inviting into our bodies, into our experience. I was like just going through one of Michael Taft's transcripts for one of his meditations that he did recently. And now I totally forgot what I was going to say about it. But it's about the emotions and about taking on or allowing the emotions through us so that we're not, I know what it is, so that we're not stuck blocking them out. But what it was is that when we invite in, when we allow ourselves to feel the really negative emotions, we're also creating huge space for the positive emotions, right? When we allow ourselves to feel the sorrow and the grief and the anger, let things move through us. We're not blocking it out or shutting it off. We're also opening up space to feel the beautiful things, for that vitality. And accepting ourselves, that we are these creatures that do all of this stuff. We aren't one dimensional. We don't just become mush balls. Although that is maybe fun to do sometimes. So I'm just going to turn the music off and give us a few minutes to hang out in open awareness in your experience, and the silence of your own experience, or the stillness of your own experience. Letting yourself process the processing. And maybe it still feels good to move. You're totally welcome to. Or maybe stillness feels better. Whatever you want. I'm going to stop the live stream if anybody made it this far in TV land.